Do you think you're a good listener? You're not alone. Most of us think we are. Yet research shows that we struggle to remember even half of what's said in a typical conversation. And when it comes to what's really important in listening, making others feel seen, heard, and understood, we're not any better. This is the illusion of listening competence. Chances are you're living it right now. If you think you're a good listener, but you're not getting the outcomes you want in the social world, maybe you feel lonely or depressed or disconnected, or you just wish your friendships were deeper and more meaningful, then this is the video for you. Hi, I'm Bruce Lambert from How Communication Works. This is the channel where I teach you about communication skills so you can improve your relationships, succeed at work, and be more confident. I've been a college professor for 35 years. I've been teaching communication skills on YouTube for almost 10 years. And for more than a decade, I traveled around the country teaching healthcare professionals how to have the most difficult empathic conversations with patients and families who had been harmed by healthcare. I can teach you too. So why is there this massive gap between perception and reality when it comes to our listening skills? One reason is the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is a cognitive bias where the people with the lowest level of skills tend to overestimate their abilities. Simply put, we don't know what we don't know. But there's more. Most of us have become skilled at a kind of fake, performative listening. We nod, maybe we maintain some eye contact, maybe insert the occasional encouraging grunt or or right. Because everyone else is doing this same kind of fake listening, we assume it's good enough. But the truth is, we're often just going through the motions. And we're not fooling anyone. Fake listening, performative listening doesn't make people feel seen, heard, and understood. And it's not going to solve the underlying problems of loneliness, disconnection, friendlessness, and so on. Here's what fake listening looks like and why we confuse it for genuine engagement. First, the advice giver. Your friend shares a problem, and immediately you're suggesting solutions. The temptation to jump in with solutions to try to fix people's problems is natural. And it often comes from a sincere desire to help. But unless people are explicitly asking for problem solving or advice, what they often want and what they often need is for you to just hear them deeply, validate what they're feeling, affirm that their feelings are normal, not judge them for feeling the way they do, and give them a chance to understand their own feelings by discussing them with you. In fact, we think that the way that comforting works is by allowing people to elaborate on their feelings and maybe come to a new understanding of why they feel the way they do. Next, the story hijacker. Somebody shares an experience with you and you respond with, "Oh, that's nothing. Wait till you hear what happened to me." You think you're really relating, but what you're really doing is shifting the attention away from them and onto yourself. This is not empathic listening. It's really stealing the attention. When I was young, I had a friend, let's call him Bobby. Whenever you would tell Bobby a story, he had always done more. He had always seen bigger. He had always done better. It got to the point where whenever we would tell a story, somebody would joke in, "Bobby's seen better. Don't be like Bobby." Next, the zombie. The zombie just nods and agrees without really processing anything. Maybe while they're looking at their phone and occasionally looking up. People can sense that you're not truly there. That's why one of the keys to listening is actually giving people your full and undivided attention. Next, the agenda driver. You're filtering the conversation for points that align with your own goals, ignoring the important context, ignoring meaning, and just interpreting everything from your own frame of reference. Maybe you had an ex who you thought was narcissistic. So your friend tells you a story about their ex, and all you do is talk about narcissism. That's not really listening. That's shifting the frame of reference to your agenda. The impatient interrupter. You think you're so tuned in that you know what they're about to say, and so you finish their sentences for them. You jump in early. It feels efficient. It maybe even feels like you're agreeing with them, but it's disrespectful and it's dismissive, and it doesn't let them finish their thought. You might be thinking, well, I do some of these things, but is it really that bad? Unfortunately, yes. Poor listening costs companies billions of dollars annually due to miscommunication, inefficiency, misunderstanding. More importantly, though, much more importantly from my point of view, it's destroying our personal connections. It's destroying the opportunity for us to grow closer to one another, to get to know one another better, to deepen our connections. And in a time when up to half of US adults report feeling lonely at least some of the time, studies confirm that high quality listening can genuinely reduce these feelings of isolation. And there is a plausible causal connection between poor listening skills and the interconnected set of social problems that plague our communities. By this, I mean loneliness, social isolation, depression, addiction, anxiety, friendlessness, and even political polarization. I think all of these things have their roots in our inability to make one another feel seen, heard, and understood. And I must say that all of these points were reinforced for me when I recently read David Brooks's new book, How to Know a Person, which is an excellent book I recommend to you. But feeling truly heard, especially in vulnerable moments when we really need it, creates bonds between us. It deepens our relationship. It heals us. It makes us feel less alone. All right, I've showed you what bad listening looks like. What does real listening look like? First of all, genuine listening isn't passive. It's active and it's cognitively demanding. Real listening, listening that illuminates the person that you're listening to, that connects you to them more deeply and that begins to heal them, has the following characteristics. It involves complex reflection. It's not enough just to be able to repeat back words. Have you ever been in a conversation where you accuse someone, you say, "You're not listening to me," and then they repeat back to you what you just said? So at some superficial level, they heard you, but they weren't really listening because they failed to capture the deeper emotions. We capture deeper emotions and we demonstrate that we've understood the deeper emotions by saying things like, "It sounds like you felt really undervalued." So by naming and reflecting feelings like this, we demonstrate that we're really paying attention. Second, mindful presence. This means giving your full attention, your clear mind, open body language, communicating that you're fully engaged, putting your phone down, sitting up straight, leaning in, nodding. All these things communicate that you're mindfully present in the interaction. Next, restraining that impulse to fix, holding back your urge to offer advice, to solve the problems, allowing the speaker the space to express themselves fully, asking curious questions. Listening does not mean sitting there silently. It's okay to talk when you're listening well. And one of the most useful things you can do is ask open-ended questions. Questions like, "What was that experience like for you?" Or even, "Tell me more." These things invite deeper sharing. And as I said before, the key to comforting people, the key to empathic listening seems to be to invite people to elaborate on their feelings, which allows them to reappraise or reconsider their own circumstances and maybe come to a different emotional reaction to what they're living through. Validating without agreement. You could acknowledge another person's feelings or another person's experience or even another person's opinions without necessarily expressing your agreement. You could say something like, "I can see why that's frustrating," or "I can see how you see it that way," or "I can see how you came to that conclusion." This doesn't mean that you've endorsed or agreed with their position. It just means you've heard them and you're affirming that you understand their position. When you do the things I just described, you're truly listening. And something remarkable happens. People feel seen, they feel understood, they feel validated. Trust deepens. Your relationship strengthens. Even better, you find yourself enjoying conversations more. People seek you out. You feel less alone. Life seems more meaningful. There's a profound satisfaction in genuinely hearing another person. In a world where we're increasingly disconnected, the ability to truly listen has become a superpower. That's why I've created The Listening Leap, Illuminating the Attentive Heart, a comprehensive video course that will transform how you connect with others. Whether you're struggling in personal relationships, wanting to advance professionally, or simply seeking deeper human connection, this course will teach you the practical listening skills that illuminate every conversation and brighten your connections. Don't miss your chance to be the first in line when enrollment opens. Click the link in the description to join our exclusive waiting list. You'll receive early access, special bonuses, and updates as we prepare to launch the course. Take the listening leap with me and discover how an attentive heart can illuminate every relationship in your life. Sign up now. Your journey to becoming an illuminator begins with a single click. Here's your challenge for this week. Pick one real listening behavior. Maybe complex reflection or restraining the fixing reflex. Try it out in one conversation. Notice the difference that it makes. Drop a comment below and tell me, which fake listening behavior do you recognize most in yourself? No judgment. We've all been there. I teach these skills because I need to learn them, not because I've perfected them. If this video helped, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, subscribe to the channel. Remember, in a world full of talkers, true listeners stand out. And deep down, we all just want to be heard.